All right, lesson 6.1 is fractions, decimals, and percents. So open up your books to page 232, and you'll see that they have a chart or 4 different number lines representing the same amount. So let's write down the numbers that they have. It says, the students at Westview Middle School are collecting cans of food for the local food bank. Their goal is to collect 2,000 cans in 1 month. After 10 days, they have 800 cans of food. So, their goal is 2,000 cans. They have, 800. After 10 days. So at the bottom of that it says the model shows that 800 out of 2,000 cans can be written in 4 different ways. So in the first model they have 2,000 and then they've colored up to 800. In the second number line they have 0 to 1 and they've represented this as a fraction, which we could write that as a fraction, which is just 800 over 2,000. They have 800 of the 2,000 that they want. So that's written in a fraction form. Now, we would simplify this, and we can automatically take the zeros off. Gives us 8 over 20. We know both of those are divisible by 2. We could probably even go further and say both of those are divisible by 4, and you're going to have 2 over 5, 2/5. And if we look down at our number line, it gives us 2/5. So from 2/5, we could write that as a decimal. 2 divided by 5 is going to be 0.4. And then the last one is percents. So the title of this section is fractions, decimals, and percents. So 0.4 is actually 40%. So we can say that the students at Westview Middle School have reached 40% of their goal. If we look at example number 1, it says writing decimals as percents. And they give you 2 ways of doing that. They want you to write 0.2 as a percent. So the method number 1 is use pencil and paper. So that would be taking 0.2, which we know is equal to 2 over 10, which is equal to 20 over 100. And we can say, we know that percents are a certain number out of 100, so we know it would be 20%. Or, option 2 is to use mental math. In mental math, we can look at this and know that if we want to put it over 100, we just move the decimal 2 points and then add the percentage, 20%. Okay? Now, you're really only able to do the mental math if you truly understand that a percentage is a certain number out of 100. Okay, if you are not understanding that it is out of 100, it's not going to work to use mental math. So let's look at the next one that they give us. They want us to write 4/5 as a percent. So first let's do paper and pencil. So you would take 4 and actually divide it by 5. How many times does 5 go into 40? That's right. goes into there 8 times. So 0.8, which is going to equal 8 over 10, which equals 80 over 100, which means it's 80%. A fraction like 4/5, if you know already that 5 goes into 120 times, you'll know how to do decimals with fifths. So 1/5 is going to be 20% because 5 goes into 120 times. So you just count by 2s or by 20s. So 20, 40, 60, 80. It's going to be 80%. Now, we could also do mental math. Now, mental math, you still have to put this into a decimal format. So you're going to take your fraction. Oh, what they do, I lied. What they did for the mental math is they multiplied each side by 20. Just like I said, when you know that 5 goes into 120 times, you can use that trick. Okay, so 5 times 20 is 100. 5 times 20 is 80. So it's going to be 80%. You could also work this into a decimal, which we already know is 0.8, and then move your decimal over 2 spots and get 80%. Okay, example number 3. They want you to order the rational numbers. So they gave you 1 and 4/5, 0.33 repeating, negative 1.6, 3, 2 and 1/5, and 70.2%. So what I would do, not looking at the book, what I would do is I would put all of these in decimal format. So we know that this is going to be 1.8. That's going to stay. It's already in decimal format. Negative 1.6, 3. That's going to be 2.2. And then this is going to be 0.702. Then, what did they want them to put it? From least to greatest. So, from least to greatest, well, looking at this, we know that that's the smallest, so 0.33 repeating. After that is going to be, let's see, that is a whole number, whole number, whole number, whole number. That one, 0.702. Oh shoot, that was a negative. Negative is going to go before here. So just put that over here because negatives, remember negatives on the number line are on the left side of a 0. This is going to be on the right side of a 0. So your negative goes first. I forgot we had one of those. So negative 1.6, 0.3 repeating, 0.702. Now we get to our whole numbers. We have 1, we have 2, and we have 3. So let's put that with the book and see if we did it right. Yes, we did. Then for the answer, they converted them back to what they were originally. I think for the purpose of our assignments, you could probably leave them in the decimal format, but if you want to put them back, that's fine as well. The last example says, decide whether using pencil and paper, mental math, or a calculator is the most useful when solving the problem. So they're giving us something about a survey. It says, in a survey, 55 people were asked whether they prefer cats or dogs. 29 people said they prefer cats. What percent of the people surveyed said they prefer cats? Well, to find a percentage, you would first write the number as a fraction. So it was 29 out of 55. Now, if I was to do this problem, I would get a calculator. I would divide 29 by 55. Looking at the book, it looks like my answer would be something like 0.527. I would leave it at that. I wouldn't, it repeats. It looks like it repeats. So we're not going to worry about that. Then, using mental math, I'd move the decimal 2 spots, and I would get an answer of 52.7%. So, fairly simple, but if you do have any questions, now is the time to ask. Or if you need, you can always go back and rewatch the video. Don't forget to take notes. And when you are ready, you can start on your assignment.